Good, glorious morning, everyone. Welcome. It's Thursday, March 28th. This is Morning Coffee and a Poem. Discover inspiration in an unexpected, authentic way. So, how's your morning so far? Take a moment to pause if you haven't already, because as soon as the day starts, how quickly do we race into the day and we can just be on the wheel, the treadmill of life. And the thoughts never stop. So take a moment to pause. I have a poem I'm going to be reading. This is a book I picked up. Literally, I purchased this book. It's a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson. You don't really hear too much. He's known for his essays, self-reliance, nature, but there's some great poems that he wrote. And he was an abolitionist as well, leading up to in the 19th century, we had the civil problems then, and history tends to repeat itself. So this poem's called Freedom that I'm going to be sharing with you this morning. And I'm going to get right into it. And because some of you are on a schedule, so I'm going to jump right into the poem. If you got time, you can hang out. But here it is. But I want to share with you real quick. I purchased this book at the very site of Ralph Waldo Emerson's home. I was in his home. And this book, in the one room, they had it for sale, and I purchased it. So it's a unique thing. So here we go. It's called Freedom. Once I wished I might rehearse freedom's paean in my verse, that the slave who caught the strain should throb until he snapped his chain. But the Spirit said, not so. Speak it not, or speak it low. Name not lightly to be said. Gift too precious to be prayed. Passion not to be expressed, but by heaving of the breast. Yet wouldst thou the mountain find where this deity is shrined? Who gives the seas and sunset skies their unspent beauty of surprise? And when it lists him, waken can, brute or savage, into man. Or if in thine heart he shine, blends the starry fates with thine, draws angels nigh to dwell with thee, and makes thy thoughts archangels be. Freedom's secret, wilt thou know? Counsel not with flesh and blood, loiter not for cloak or food. Right thou feelest, rush to do. I got chills. That poem really says a lot. So you got to remember, this was written during the civil unrest of the 19th century, and this idea of freedom, and it's something that is relevant today. And I'm just looking for the piece in here where he's talking about it. Where this deity is shrined, it says, yet wouldst thou the mountain find where this deity is shrined. Think about the quest for freedom today. Think about it. And we're going to wrap this up, this poem up. I just want to say good morning, welcome. I have TikTok Live. We're going to Facebook Live, YouTube, LinkedIn. So welcome today. Think about your own personal quest for freedom. What does it mean for you? Hey, good morning, Mandy. Did he who made the lamb make thee? Did he who made the lamb make thee? This poem is timeless. It's this quest for freedom. And I want to share with you, like, you know, when I first read this, I'm looking for this climax in the poem, this, like, you know, plant your flag, this like big breakout moment, right? Like, just like we're looking for in our lives, we're looking for this big breakout moment, but the end, loiter not for cloak or food. right thou feelest, rush to do. And let me know what you think about that part. But what I take away from that, what do you know at a gut level? You know it at a gut level. You know at intuitively, you know it's right or it's wrong for you. Loiter not for cloak or food. Don't hang around and wait for the tap on the shoulder. If you feel it in your gut, right thou feelest, rush to do. Some of you are feeling things at a gut level. And the more you postpone it, the more discontent you feel because your nervous system is at unrest because you're not following through on what you believe to be true at a deep level. So, this poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson is relevant and powerful today. And I want it to be relevant and powerful for you this morning. What are you feeling at a gut level? And you feel it rise up in you, and you know it's true. It's from your heart and your soul. Will you answer the call? So let's take a moment and just pause. It's a brand new day, and it's the aurora. Meet the aurora with open arms, the dawn of a new day. And I know you have a mug or whatever you're drinking this morning. I got some adaptogen coffee in here. So this is the mug that I insist whatever I put in here tastes better. Do you have a mug like that? And give me a shout out if you're jumping on here live. I have TikTok on. If you're on TikTok, and I got a bonus poem for you that's a little deeper. So once we end my live broadcast here, I'm going to share something with you on TikTok. And I want to invite you to go over to the YouTube channel, Austin J. Haynes. I have what I want to create. I'll just give you a little commercial. I ask you, what are you doing to feed your heart and your soul? Your head is being fed non-stop. More than any time in history, thousands upon thousands of messages are entering your head. Our brains get big and swell. We have the largest brain, and we have the largest brain. But maybe, just maybe, your heart is longing, it's yearning. So I want you to go and follow this. Feed your heart and soul with this. This is going to be an ongoing thing. And again, I have a bonus poem. So for those of you that just joined, I'm going to read the poem again because we have some folks that just joined. Hello, Dr. Andre Adams Miller. We got Mandy Robinson on here. Mandy's a famous poet out of Canada. She wrote a book called Catalyst Poetry. She's been joining. I treasure, and she says, I treasure every moment of my freedom. I fought hard for it. I will never relinquish it ever again. Have you fought for something in your life? They say, it's like this paradox. We want it to come easy, but when it comes easy, we don't appreciate it. It's the thing that we fought very hard for that we tend to hold in value. And some of you have fought for freedom. Some of you are fighting today for freedom. You're fighting, and maybe you can't even put your finger on it yet. You just feel it. You don't even know what it is. You can't fully express it. We have Margaret Johns from Iceland. Good morning to you. And I want to tell you, we're doing a retreat in Iceland next year. Powerful. We're going to be up there in the land of fire and ice, and we're going to be, there's going to be a select group of people that we're going to go up there with. So I'm going to read the poem again because some of you joined late. So I'm going to read this poem again. And I want to point out again, I purchased this book. It's called Emerson. And most people don't realize that Ralph Waldo Emerson was a poet. I purchased this book in his home. I walked through his home almost literally as it appeared in the 19th century. It was a powerful experience. and his library was in there where Henry David Thoreau sat and extracted much of his information for his great work Walden that he wrote at Walden. He wrote Walden at Walden. So let me read this to you. Freedom. Once I wished I might rehearse freedom's paean in my verse, that the slave who caught the strain should throb until he snapped his chain. But the Spirit said, not so. Speak it not, or speak it low. Name not lightly to be said, gift too precious to be prayed, passion not to be expressed, but by heaving of the breast. Yet wouldst thou the mountain find where this deity is shrined? Who gives to seas and sunset skies their unspent beauty of surprise? And when it lists him, waken can brute or savage into man. Or if in thy heart he shine, blends the starry fates with thine, draws angels nigh to dwell with thee, and makes thy thoughts archangels be. Freedom's secret wilt thou know? Counsel not with flesh and blood. Loiter not for cloak or food. Right thou feelest, rush to do. Today's about tapping into your gut, heart, soul. Tap into it today. Step away from the narrative of the noisy news and listen. So for those of you that are on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. I'm going to keep TikTok open, and I have another poem I'm going to share today as a bonus. So I really appreciate you being here today. Follow along, go to the YouTube channel. I have many things planned for you. I'm going to be doing a tour, a world tour, and I'm going to be bringing you poetry, presence in nature, exceptional people who have completely reinvented their lives. I spent 19 years with the same Fortune 500 company, and in the middle of my best year, I made my full year's income in 6 months. I was going to double my income. I walked away to follow a calling, a purpose, and I call it my midlife oasis. Since then, I've become a motivational speaker. I was hired by different companies. I wrote a book called Flashpoint, Manifesting the Moment of Your Big Breakthrough. It was ultimately endorsed by Damon John from the Shark Tank. And I got to tell you, before that, I almost got fired from that job that I told you about. And I didn't read my first book cover to cover until I was 21. So to have all this come to fruition has been a dream come true. So there's going to be a lot more for you. I'm going to be creating more content for you. So thank you for being here today. Follow along. God bless. TikTok, stay with me. And we'll be back tomorrow at 8:15 for another powerful edition of Morning Coffee. Where's my morning coffee? And a poem. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.